Now for our feature story of the day. Cathie Wood of ARK Invest was recently interviewed, and she doubled down on her 1 million price forecast for the king crypto, Bitcoin. Is she right? Well, let's break this down, and shout out to Cathie Wood. Before I even get into the new prediction, I'm going to hit you with a throwback that I shared. Let me timestamp it for you. This was back on July 18th of 2023. I wrote this up after studying some of her predictions. She went on to share in an interview. We went to a bear, base, and bull case. Our bull case is 1.5 million. Again, she predicted this back in 2023. The base case is 682,000. Now, one reason internally our confidence has increased towards the bull case is because what happened during the regional bank crisis in March. What happened? As regional banks are going bankrupt and the stocks are imploding across the board, Bitcoin rallied from 19,000 to 30,000. Why did that happen? That was a flight to safety. That is the insurance policy we're talking about that we believe everyone will want at the end of the day. Insurance policy against two things. Number one, confiscation of wealth, either directly or by inflation or the deflation world. What is it a hedge against? It's a hedge against the counterparty risk. We won't have an 08-09 with Bitcoin. Everything is decentralized and transparent, no obfuscation. And this was before the announcement of Trump, the strategic Bitcoin reserve. This is before Trump spoke at the conference in Nashville. So now let's get a little update, because nearly 2 years ago, as you know, Cathie Wood of ARK Invest made the infamous prediction that Bitcoin would reach $1 million by 2030. That was well before Bitcoin ever broke through the 100,000 price level, and even before the launch of the new Bitcoin ETFs, which were January 2024. So the prediction came when Bitcoin was emerging from the crypto winter of 2022, and its prospects looked uncertain at best. So in a brand new interview with Bloomberg, Wood reiterated that Bitcoin is heading to $1 million by 2030. Send it. In fact, if everything goes according to plan, she says it might even go to 1.5 million, which is her doubling down on her bull scenario. But why is she so bullish? Let's discuss it. The primary factor driving Bitcoin's surging price, says Wood, is its inherent scarcity. According to the Bitcoin algorithm, its total lifetime supply is capped at 21 million, and 19.8 million coins are already in circulation, and 5 to 6 million are lost, gone, or stagnated forever, Laura. And at this point, says Wood, Bitcoin is even more scarce than gold. Oh, it's way more scarce. Bitcoin offers true scarcity. Gold offers what I refer to as relative scarcity. Bitcoin is the first commodity in human existence with a finite, limited supply. That's it. The first. The supply of Bitcoin is carefully controlled by its algorithm, and there's no way to crank up its production. It's also immutable. You can't change it. It's impregnable, and hence it's going up forever, Laura. That's limited supply. It's important because the demand for Bitcoin continues to rise. Everyone is suddenly racing to own the biddy, and that demand will help boost the Bitcoin price, given its relatively fixed supply. So to come up with her original 1 million price prediction for Bitcoin, she deployed a building block model for estimating its future price. And according to ARK Invest, several different building blocks are driving Bitcoin demand. One of these building blocks is demand from the institutional investors, the FOMO like a mofo, who are choosing to allocate more of their portfolios to Bitcoin. Now that the spot Bitcoin ETFs are available to the investors, institutional investors have a useful tool for calibrating their precise exposure to the biddy. In her original model, she used the base case allocation of a modest 2.5% for Bitcoin. In the best case scenario, she says institutional investors might choose to allocate as much as 6.5% of their portfolios to Bitcoin. And again, when she originally made this prediction, it was in 2022, before the bullishness we just recently experienced. And another building block is the growing demand for Bitcoin as a long-term store of value. Until recently, the idea of substituting digital gold, aka Bitcoin, for physical gold had not really taken off. But now, more investors are buying into the idea of Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. And another building block is something Wood refers to as a nation-state treasury. Now we're talking, which is demand coming from central banks and sovereign governments around the world. And across the world, nation-states are contemplating holding Bitcoin as a reserve asset. I mean, why wouldn't they? Especially if the leader of the free world, the Trumpster, makes the big announcement. The most recent example is President Trump's campaign promise, creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the U.S. And according to the current outline of the plan, the U.S. government will commit to buying 1 million Bitcoins over a 5-year period. That's 200,000 biddies per year, with a suggesting holding period of 20 years. That's 5 freaking cycles. Bring it. Several U.S. states, including Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, have also said they would create a strategic Bitcoin reserve of their own. So the momentum for the government ownership of the Bitcoin continues to build. So is 20 trillion market cap possible? Abso-freaking-lutely. And we'll end the story there. Just common sense. If the gold market cap is 17 trillion and Bitcoin overcomes it, we're right there. Family, we're right freaking there. So anything is possible. Pass the bill, Cynthia. I know. Let's sign that bill into action and game on. Now, welcome everyone. This is the Q&A segment of the live stream.